If you spend as little as 5 minutes cruising around on social media, it might seem like you're the only one that doesn't have tens of thousands of dollars to spend on your truck. Well, the truth is, you don't have to have stacks of cash to personalize your vehicle. So today I'm going to share with you a bunch of modifications you can do to your 4Runner or Tacoma that range between like $15 to all the way up to $300 on the high end. One of the easiest and best things that you can do to change the exterior look of your vehicle is tinting the windows. And on these Toyota trucks, these front side windows are never tinted from the factory, but the rears and like all back here are all privacy glass. That goes for both trucks. You'll see it on the Tacomas as well. So I had these done professionally a few years ago, and I believe it was about $50 a window. So for a total of $100, I believe this is 20% tint on here, and you can still see through it. I didn't want to go too dark and give the law a reason to harass car enthusiasts any more than they already do in this city. So you'll notice the Tacoma, I haven't done it yet. I'm going to be doing that soon, actually. I've held off long enough. But you notice the difference. I mean, look at the fishbowl effect on those side windows on the front compared to the windows at the back. It just doesn't look uniform, doesn't look clean and classy, and it's just so nice to have protection from the sun and the UV rays while you're driving. You can pick your nose all you want at a red light. It's just a great way of living. It's one of those things that once you're used to a vehicle with tinted windows, to then go to driving a vehicle without them is kind of frustrating, and you don't realize how much you appreciate it until you don't have it. While we're already pointing the camera at the windows, let's just work smart, not hard here, and talk about these window visors. These are from AVS, or Auto Vent Shades, I guess it stands for. And mine are just the stick-on ones. It's just like double-sided tape. It's a pretty good quality adhesive that sticks these on. They don't go into the in-channel or anything like that. I've heard of problems with the in-channel ones of, you know, there's side effects of sticking something in the frame of your window. And so these just stick on the outside. They've been on here for probably 5 years. They hold up pretty well. I think there's one corner, one of these is, I'm not sure which one it is. One of these is getting, yeah, this one, it's getting a little bit loose. I'm gonna have to kind of put a new little piece of tape in there. But for the most part, these guys are all hanging on really well. This just makes it so that you can crack your windows down a little bit when it's raining or whatever. These are pretty cheap too. You can usually get a whole set for your vehicle, like the 4Runner here. You can usually get them for, I think, like 50 or 60 bucks for a decent set, and they're super easy to install. Actually, on that note, let's go ahead and talk about the bug deflector on this thing that people love to comment on. There's a lot of questions about this bug deflector. This is an OEM Toyota one that, as far as I can tell, the original owner of my 4Runner had the dealership install when they bought it brand new. It seems like these were really only available at Canadian dealerships for the most part, but the good news is there is an aftermarket company. I want to say it's FormFit, I think is the name of the company. They make one that's like the exact same sort of design, the same shape as this. So they call them bug deflectors. Does it really help with bugs? Do we care about bugs? Not really. I think it's kind of an inaccurate name for something like this. It's more of a rock guard because you want to protect the leading edge of your hood from stone chips and stuff, and it does help with that for sure. Bugs, who cares? I mean, you're going to have bugs all over your front bumper, all over your grill. Like, what difference does it make if you get them on the front of your hood? So these are more like rock deflectors, I think, in order to sort of cushion the blow of this leading edge of your hood getting peppered. All right, moving on, and this is sort of a polarizing topic, but I run Oxido LED bulbs in the headlights of both of these trucks, actually. And these newer facelifted 4Runners like this one from 06 and up had projector headlights in them. So you can see they got a little projector in there. So it's not a big deal to upgrade to LEDs. I still wouldn't do HIDs and something like this because the projector isn't really meant for them, but not a big deal. However, the typical halogen style headlights on something like this older Tacoma, a lot of people have a problem with running LEDs in these because they think they're going to glare like crazy, they're going to blind everybody, but in my experience with these Oxido ones, they are a pretty high quality bulb, and they actually have sort of like a cutoff built into them that is supposed to mimic the light pattern of a projector. And is it the same as actual projectors? No, of course not. But I can say with confidence that I have driven in front of this Tacoma in another vehicle. As a matter of fact, even in a lowered vehicle like my MR2 here, I've had the Tacoma driving right behind me and it was not blinding me in my mirrors. I've had it driving towards me and it didn't blind me. For all of you hardcore retrofit people that have a problem with LED bulbs, that's fine. Just move past this one. Maybe it's not for you. Speaking of which, I know I just did a recent video on this, but another great update or a way to make your vehicle look new again is to actually replace your headlights. Or what I did here was I took an SR5 Tacoma that just had the black block-off plates in the bumper. It didn't come with fog lights from the factory, and I just found a set that were kind of like OEM replacements. And I popped those in there and wired them in with a factory-style switch. So now it's as if this Tacoma came with factory fog lights. It's not aftermarket looking or custom or anything. And that's sort of the look I was going for. So if you've got some pretty nasty condition headlights, just replacing them with brand new chrome ones even, like what I did here, because I feel like it matched the look of the front end with a factory chrome grille and stuff better than, say, black housing ones or something. But I think a set of black housing headlights is a really good upgrade if you want to change the appearance of your truck on the front end. In the case of the 4Runner here, I think it could definitely use some black housing headlights. I know I've been on the fence for a long time, and I do have something in the works. I've been talking to a company that's developing some right now, but they're not out yet. I don't know when they're coming out. But for now, I still got the chrome eyeballs on this thing. So check it out. We've got factory ride height here with just an upgraded tire size on it. And over here, the front end is lifted. In the case of the 4Runner, it's an actual lift. I've got coilovers up front. But if you like the stance of this one better than this one, you don't necessarily have to spend money on new shocks and coilovers and stuff like that. If it's not in the budget, you can get a spacer lift kit to raise your front end to the exact same height that the 4Runner is at here. It just doesn't change your ride quality or improve your flex or anything like that. But it'll allow you to run a bigger size tire and to lift up the front end a little bit to be level with the rear end. On a truck like the Tacoma here, the front end sits lower than the rear does. And they do that from the factory, thinking that people are going to be loading weight in the beds and stuff, and they don't want these things with the bumper dragging on the ground when you actually use them as a pickup truck. But let's be honest, a lot of people don't actually work their trucks that hard that often that they need to have that sort of extra buffer zone in their suspension, if you will. And if you're just riding around empty all the time and you want to level up the front of your truck, just throw in a couple spacers in there. You can usually get a decent spacer lift for, I don't know, 150, 200 bucks. And again, it's not going to change your ride quality. It's not going to make it better off-road, but it will allow you to have some space to run a bigger tire, and it just looks cooler. All right, let's head into the interior here for a couple of ideas. By the way, you can see the fog light switch that I added here. We're in the factory location. I got a center console safe in this thing from Tuffy, and I think you can get these for around like $250 or so. These things are awesome, man. Like, if you want to lock up your wallet or your phone or whatever valuables that you might leave in your truck when you run in somewhere, whether you're going to the gym or you're doing some kind of sports or something, these are great. And I have a key just on my key ring here. You can lock this guy up. These things are awesome. Now, are they like untouchable to the point where nobody could ever break into them? Not quite. Like, they're screwed into the bottom of the center console, which is plastic. So I mean, a decent pry bar, you could probably rip this whole assembly out. So if the Team Promotions 11 does decide to target your 2006 Toyota Tacoma, you might still have some problems. This is more just trying to keep the honest people honest, and you know, your local junkies and stuff are going to have a hard time getting into this because they don't exactly walk around with a whole toolkit with them typically. So that's a nice little upgrade. Also, while we're inside here, I upgraded these climate control knobs from, I believe these are from Oxedo, actually the same company that I got the headlight bulbs from. I've got a discount code for Oxedo, actually. I'll throw that on the screen here for you guys if you want to get any of this stuff. These are just a great way of updating the dash on these older Tacomas. I think it was when they did the facelift on the front end on these trucks, I think they changed to knobs that looked more like this, but these original, like the earlier model second gen Tacomas had it was just like a black plastic kind of a knob that you would stick your fingers into and turn, and it just looked kind of cheesy. These are much more premium looking, and it really makes the dash look a little bit newer, a little bit nicer. You can get them with the chrome rings like these. I think they also make all black versions. I could be wrong, but these are cheap too. I think they were like, I want to say 15 bucks maybe for a whole set. They snap on, you can install them in probably no more than 30 seconds. And for the cost and how easy it is to do, I think this is a really great upgrade for anybody that's a little budget conscious. All right, coming around the back, and these Tacomas come from the factory with some decent little storage options here, right? They've got these little compartments Let me just do it with my wrong hand here. Nope, that's locked. Okay, there we go. Okay. So they have these that you can keep like your ratchet straps and your bungee cords and stuff for doing truck stuff in. But obviously anybody can just walk up and take them if they want to. And enter the Tuffy lockbox here. This thing is pretty awesome. So again, we use the same key as the console safe. They're both keyed together. And you can drop this down. Not only is this a secure locking solution for any of your gear, but it goes deeper down into the bed, and I think it's like almost twice as big as the factory one. Look at how shallow that is. And then look at how deep down this one goes. So you get extra storage space, and it's secure, lockable storage space. So these also I think you can get for under 300 bucks now, and they're a pretty great option. This one's holding up pretty good. As you can see, I don't have a tonneau cover or anything on this truck, and this truck sits outside all winter long. It's got at least one full winter of this sitting outside there, and the finish is still holding up pretty strong. So these things are built well. They got a nice powder coated finish on them. There's actually a problem with these Tacoma tailgates in that you can steal them really easily. There's companies that make locks on I believe it just goes on these sort of like the pivot of the tailgate here, that it bolts it on. So at least you have to have tools, like special tools, in order to release it and free it up. Because the problem is, I can't do it one-handed. I'm holding the camera here, but all you have to do is drop this strap, drop that strap, and you can pull the tailgate up and out of its position, and you can walk away with the tailgate on a Tacoma in probably under a minute if you know how to remove it. And that's not good, because these things are not cheap. I actually had to replace this tailgate because the one that was on this truck was pretty beat up and pretty rusted and dented. And by the time you paint it and you buy an aftermarket one even, the cost adds up pretty quick. And for something that can be stolen in less than a minute, it's probably a good idea to seal that up and lock it in. As a matter of fact, I should get one for this truck because, again, this one sits outside, and I don't want that nice new tailgate to disappear on me. If you're planning on running a lot of electrical accessories on your truck, I don't on the Tacoma, at least not yet, but on the 4Runner I do have some lighting and stuff on here. It doesn't take long for the wiring at the battery and the engine bay to get real cluttered looking, and you got a separate fuse and a relay for every single light that you run on your vehicle, and it ends up looking like a rat's nest real quick. And so my solution for that has been to install this aux beam switch panel. And so for me, I have the light bar and the bumper on this one, and then I have the light bar on the roof rack on this one, and then this one is for my chase lights. And I'm going to show you, let's pop the hood here. I'm going to show you just how much that cleaned up the wiring in the engine bay here. Look at that. That's all we have for all of those three accessories. We've got everything all in one spot here, nice and clean and tidy. It makes it super quick and easy to install new accessories, whether you're wiring in, I don't know, a winch or a dash cam, it doesn't matter. Anything that you need power from that you can hook up directly to the battery here. You just choose your spot. You can see this is where my wiring is coming in for those three lights. You got a separate fuse for each one there. And then you got a breaker for the entire system there as well in case something goes wrong. But this is just such an easy way to install electrical accessories on your vehicle without just having a whole bunch of wiring all over the place. It even comes with an app that you can adjust the functions of all this stuff, but also you can change the color, the backlighting color of it to match the lighting in your dash if you want to. So I have it all set to like the sort of OEM Toyota Amber color. And I think that's the way to go, but you can have this thing lit up like a disco light if you want, if you're into that sort of thing. But yeah, I think you can get these, especially they're usually on sale on Auxbeam's website. I think you can get them for, I want to say like $250 or $260 or so, which is crazy bang for your buck. Because I remember when this technology first came out with some of like the bigger name brand companies, this would have been a pretty expensive setup. I think probably upwards of $600 or $800. And this has been great. I mounted it down here. I have a whole separate video of where I installed this if you guys want to see more in depth. While we're inside the 4Runner here, a set of all-weather floor mats are another really great purchase. especially on these Toyota trucks. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to take an off-road SUV or pickup truck, the Tacoma is the same thing, and put gray, like light gray carpet inside. It's just so easy to stain and get messy. So some people like to run WeatherTech mats, and I don't mind them. I think they're horribly overpriced for the value that you actually get out of them. Like, they're nice, I know that they fit perfectly and everything, but I just don't see it worth spending hundreds of dollars on something like that when I just run these like basic rubber all-weather mats from the parts store. I get these from Canadian Tire for pretty cheap, and I run them in both trucks. You can just pressure wash them when you wash the rest of the truck. You can scrub them with the same tire cleaner or degreaser that you use on your tires. So rubber is rubber, right? So whatever you use to clean your tires, you can use to clean your floor mats. And these, unlike the WeatherTechs, don't just like get permanently stained and discolored over time like they do. And those ones, they're kind of hard to bring back when they do get faded and stained, and then they almost look worse than if you would have just left it alone. But if you want to blow the money on like the proper laser cut ones, that it's more of a liner than a mat, it kind of wraps up a little bit up the sidewalls of your carpet, then you can go ahead and get those too. But if you really want to save money, these rubber ones seem to work fine for me. I've got another really cheap upgrade for your interior, and that is to buy an LED conversion kit for all of your interior lights. The dome lights, the map lights. The cool thing is that nowadays you can just go on Amazon and buy a complete kit of, it'll have for your specific vehicle, whether it's a 4Runner or Tacoma or anything else, it'll have the bulbs laid out for you specifically for each location, so you don't have to like mix and match them and find each one. I got this one, I think it was from Amazon. It has the lights for the doors, so it lights up this storage pocket in here when you open the door. It's got the map lights or the reading lights, whatever you want to call them, up there, and then it's got the dome lights as well. These are really cheap. I want to say maybe 30 bucks or something on Amazon, eBay, whatever. And typically they last pretty well. There was a time there when buying the cheap ones meant that they would start flickering in like a couple of months. But I did this one in the 4Runner, I want to say a few years ago at least, and they're doing pretty well. As you can see, I also did the lights here in the Tacoma, and these ones actually came from Oxido when I got the headlight bulbs. These ones, I think these are at a higher quality. They're a little bit less blue colored, a little bit more white. And I think these ones are definitely brighter than the factory ones, like drastically brighter. I find the ones in the 4Runner are a little bit bluer, and I think they just make it look a little bit more modern, but they're not necessarily super bright. These Oxido ones though, these really have brightened up the cabin inside this truck for sure. Now, if you like to take your truck off-road and you do a lot of sort of like mud bogging and stuff where you're submerging down into water and mud and stuff, it's a good idea to relocate the breather on your rear differential, because your front diff has a breather up in the engine bay, and the rear diff has the breather just down by the actual pumpkin here. And so you can buy kits, like even from ARB, I think, makes a kit, like a sort of a fancier one that is going to cost you more money, but it includes the hose and all the fittings and everything that you need to be able to run it all the way up to, everybody likes to, well, not everybody, but I think the most common place that people like to put it, inside the gas door here, right beside the gas cap. You can have a little spot there where you can run the breather. And that just makes it so that you can submerge both your front and rear axle then in water without the fear of filling up your differential with water. I haven't done it on mine yet, but it is on the list of projects that I want to do. You know, there was a time not that long ago when if you wanted to add light bars or any kind of high quality LED lighting on your vehicle, you're gonna have to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on really high end lighting. Those days are over. You can get away with getting some fairly cheap light bars now and still get a pretty decent quality light. So I run Nightlight lights on all the locations on this 4Runner. I have a curved dual row LED bar in the bumper here. Then I have the slim single row up top here that's mounted flush with the Sherpa roof rack. You can see it's nice and clean. Really great setup for keeping it low key and keeping it kind of stealthy looking while still having, you know, all the power of the sun with you if you are out wheeling at nighttime or even just out on the highway at nighttime. It's nice to have as long as there aren't people coming towards you. Another thing that I added was these chase lights on the back. If you're driving in a lot of dust or, you know, snowstorms and stuff, you're really afraid of getting rear-ended. You want to make sure that people can see you beyond just maybe having like your tail lights on. These bright amber lights on the back here, again mounted to my Sherpa rack. This is it'd be harder to mount these if you didn't have a roof rack, but These are awesome. These really increase the visibility in the rear end. I think it's important to go with an amber color on these because you do want to cut through stuff. You're not using these like as a reverse light or anything to see behind you. These are just so other people behind you can see you. And on that note, if Billy in the Tesla is riding your rear bumper a little bit too much and you need to wake him up a little, these are really good for tailgaters as well, but I didn't tell you that, okay? And last but not least, or maybe it is least if you're not a fan of this kind of stuff, but all of these Toyota trucks from this era came from the factory with these chrome badges like the Tacoma still has here. And on this truck, I think it fits, I think it works because we have chrome accents all over it. We have the chrome grille, we have the headlight housings, the fog lights, and then the rear bumper on these trucks is chrome as well. The 4Runner here, however, the chrome badges just don't really suit it. So the Trail Runner Customs grille up front here replaced the factory emblem on the front, but we do have the limited badges on the side, and then we also have the Toyota emblem and also Toyota 4Runner on the back here as well. That would all be chrome. In this case, the previous owner of my 4Runner plasti dipped them, and to be honest, they didn't do a very good job either. And so it's a very cheap, very easy way of blacking out your badges, but it doesn't necessarily last forever. It's not the same as just getting all new black badges, but these are individual letters on here. So that means if you're going to pull this off, you're going to be spending quite some time with some fishing line trying to peel those off. And then you also have to be very careful about mounting a new one, make sure you got all the letters straight and everything. So if that's too much hassle for you, I think just getting a can of plasti dip and spraying them down is a really quick and easy way of making them black. So as you can see, mine are quite worn out from years and years of washing and scrubbing them and stuff. And I think they need to be redone. I've been considering going back to chrome, but I think with the look of the 4Runner right now, I'm going to keep them black. So I am going to have to redo it. If you guys want me to make a video about how to plasti dip your badges, I can go ahead and do that. Go ahead and comment below. Let me know that you want to see that. So if you have any other ideas for modifications for these 4Runners and Tacomas, go ahead and throw them in the comments if I didn't hit it in this video. And aside from that, I'm going to go ahead and put some links down in the description here of some of the videos that I have going more in depth on some of these, whether it's installing them or reviewing them and stuff like that. So go ahead and check that out if you want to. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.